Hey guys, welcome back to the Music Hole. My name is Cole. Today we're going to travel back to 2006 to talk about one of the most interesting contemporary southern rock bands going today, which is Drive-By Truckers. And this is their album, A Blessing and a Curse. And I just want to say, oh my gosh, I'm in love with the art cover. This album cover is so cool. I remember seeing it and just thinking to myself, please be a good album, please. Right? Isn't that the worst? When you've got a great cover and a bad album. But anyway, I'm excited to talk about it with you guys. So let's dive in with track 1, which is called February 14th. Yeah, I don't know. Our poor hero on this song is very lonely, and it's a post-breakup song where basically it sounds like he broke up with an ex. He was probably thinking to himself, oh, she was horrible. I can't wait to find someone better and to, find a more perfect match to marry and have kids with, right? But years have gone by. He still hasn't found anyone. He's still alone on February 14th. He doesn't even have a date, this poor guy. But not only that, he probably looked on Facebook or something and saw that her ex, or his ex, is married and maybe has kids and is doing really, really well, while he's still alone and miserable, right? So, he kind of felt good breaking up with her years ago. He thought that he made the right choice and that he's going to get himself together and find someone great. But nope, he's alone, he's single, and his ex is doing much better than he is. So yeah, that's a tough that's a tough thing to find out. But anyway, let's move along to track 2, which is called Gravity's Gone.
I went stumbling through the fog trying to find a reason for the things I told her. She woke up sunny side down and I was still thinking I was too proud to flip her over. Between the champagne hand jobs and the kissing ass by everyone involved, cocaine rich comes quick and that's when the small dicks have it all. So I'll meet you at the bottom if there really is one. They always told me when you hit it you'll know it. But I've been falling so long it's like gravity's gone and I'm just floating.
Jeez Louise, this is not going well for our hero, right? It's the same guy, I would imagine. And it sounds like he's just constantly agonizing over these memories he's having of when he left his ex and how she probably was the best thing to come into his life, and his life has just been sliding downhill ever since, right? He keeps finding a new rock bottom and he's just like hoping and praying that maybe he'll find, the female version of his own state, in a sense of like he'll find the female version of rock bottom to fall in love with, because basically he's got no shot with anyone new, is what it sounds like. His life is in such disarray. His life is such a mess that really he can't picture anybody wanting him or finding him attractive. So the only person who could possibly want to be with this guy is someone who's also hit rock bottom. So he's just like, his life is not going very well. This poor guy. But hey, once you hit rock bottom, the only thing, the only place left to go is up. Isn't that what they say? Right? It can't get any worse, you know. So hopefully he keeps that in mind. Anyway, that's Gravity's Gone. I love this song. It's very, very catchy. But let's move on to track 3, which is called Easy on Yourself.
I can't blame you, it's a shame you can't cover your ass sometimes. It's that kind of town and you're so far down you can't get up. And I can't tell you what to sell and how to toe the line and when to just give up. Calling out to everyone who tried to run. Tried to run in. Don't be so easy on yourself, 'cause this one might be all that you have left. Rearrange the voices in your head and remember what they said. Don't be so easy on yourself. You got it down.
Yeah, oh no. Our poor hero. So we're learning a little bit more, right? He comes from a small town where not many people live there. So not only has he hit rock bottom and left a girl who, you know, probably he should have stayed with, but he's got no one else to choose from, really. I mean, he's already hit rock bottom. So really, the only realistic choices for him are other people who've hit rock bottom. But he lives in this small town in the middle of nowhere. So, I mean, there's nobody to choose from, right? It's not like he lives in a big city where there are hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people, you know, and nobody knows his life story. He lives in this small town community where everybody knows him. They know who he is. They know what he's like. They've heard rumors and gossip. You know what I mean? They're probably all well aware of the fact that he's hit rock bottom. So basically, he's totally screwed unless he leaves town, which is probably not going to happen because that requires money, right? So anyway, our poor guy, he's not having a good time. But let's move along. Let's talk about track number 4, which is called Aftermath U.S.A.
When I crawled out of bed this morning, I could tell something wasn't right. There were cigarettes in the ashtrays, and they weren't your menthol lights. There were beer bottles in the kitchen, broken glass on the floor. Someone must have slipped me something past a couple days before. The car was in the carport sideways, big and running down the side. Never seen anything as frightening as when I took a look inside. Smell of musk and deception, heel marks on the roofline, bad music on the stereo, all the seats in recline. Aftermath staring me right in the face. I get around to breaking even one of these days.
Yeah, whoa, guy. Okay, your life is going down the tubes real fast, right? Sounds like he's just getting drunk all the time because his life has hit rock bottom and nobody wants him, or nobody he wants him. So he just gets wasted, and then he blacks out. But while he's blacked out, he's doing all these crazy things like having sex with random women in his car. Their high heels are hitting his the roof of his car as he's doing it with her, and he's driving around drunk, right? So it sounds like he hit something because his car is all dented. So he's just completely off the rocks here. He's just like, well, if nobody wants me, and if I've got all these rumors and gossip going around about me, and my life sucks anyway, why not just have a hell of a time and get super wasted and just do whatever and, screw around and, live life fast and loose, basically. So this poor guy, he has zero hope in his future and is just decided to party it up until he probably dies young. But anyway, that's Aftermath USA. Let's move along and skip to track 6, which is a favorite of mine. It's called Daylight.
She's got me tied in a knot, that's what I thought she'd do. Don't ask me what's on my mind, I'm fine, I'll push on through. Not much to see on this angry street, so sleep the day away. Look past my barnacle mind in time, I'll roll a stone away. While we still have the daylight, look these lessons in the eye. While we still have the daylight, come some brand new kind of guy. Brass knuckles and birds on a wire retire, but no one gets free.
Yeah, our poor hero, he's completely tied up in knots emotionally and mentally by this ex whose thoughts are just constantly on his mind. He's thinking about her all the time. He's thinking about how badly he screwed up. And the fact that he's now just become this total drunk jerk of a person who, is probably going to die young. But mostly the song is about how his memories are just completely getting in the way of his ability to live life, right? Because it sounds like, for example, in my own life, one of the things that really bothers me about having all these exes is that I start to compare and contrast people with my exes. And what I mean by that is like, well, with one of my exes, they really liked to play video games and they loved anime and they really enjoyed a lot of geeky things, right? So whenever it comes to a new potential girlfriend, I can't help but hope that they like all those things, right? Because I had it once, and I know how amazing it is to get drunk with your girlfriend and, play some multiplayer games. So, I kind of like set that as a bar for any new person who I want to date. So it sounds like this guy on some level is doing something similar, where like he's remembering how awesome she was, he's remembering all the things they used to do together, and he's just so worried that he'll never meet anybody who's going to be as good as her, especially, of course, these days, considering his reputation now. Now he's totally screwed. So he's just going to, I don't know how he's going to pull through from this, but, he's got a lot of time to think about it, I guess. He's telling himself, I might look these lessons in the eye while there's still daylight. Because I imagine at nighttime he's just partying and getting drunk. But anyway, so that's Daylight. I love this song. It's very catchy. Let's talk about track 7 next, which is called Wednesday.
took his dark depression and went home. She saw things in him that he never bargained, but it wasn't enough to save either one of them, because she took all that sadness one step further and left him all alone to face the end.
Yeah, this is a very sad situation for this guy, because it sounds like there's this new woman who he's known since childhood who's entered his life, and she really has a big crush on this guy. But he's too broken, right? He's too down and out. He doesn't believe in himself anymore. He's become a total drunk. His house is in disarray. There's cat pee everywhere. It's all dusty and stuff. Basically, she's met him at the completely worst moment in his life, where even though, you know, it's great that there's actually someone in the world who wants to be with this guy, he just has nothing left to give, right? His true colors have shown, in the sense of like, he's caved in to alcohol, for example, and he's just a total party freak with like who puts no value on his own life. So he has all this tremendous sadness going on in his life that he doesn't want to spread to someone new, to somebody who he probably thinks is doing all right in life, right? He doesn't want to taint her by spreading his sadness to her, even though she's willing to put up with it, right? And I mean, this song spoke to me in the sense that in my own life, I did things when I had a couple manic episodes that I really regret doing, that because of medication are not really possible for me to do anymore. But I know that I'm capable of doing them. And part of me, when it comes to dating someone new, you know, I worry about the possibility of having kids and having my kids be bipolar as well, because I know how hard it can be. You know, for example, when you're bipolar and you're not medicated, like I was for most of my life, during the winter time I was really sad and depressed, and it was really hard to do anything. It was really hard to be sociable and to have friends and, you know, to be a fun person to hang out with. But then also in the summer, you feel great and you feel funny and it's really easy to be sociable, and you're the complete opposite. So you've got this constant like upswing and downswing going on throughout the year. That's just really frustrating. So I relate to this guy in the song in the sense of like, I feel kind of broken in a sense, just like he does. And even if someone has a crush on me, I feel kind of worrisome, right? They're not speaking to me when I'm the best version of myself, if that makes any sense. So this guy's kind of too down and out, too broken, too rock bottom to feel like he has anything to offer other than sadness. So this poor guy, our poor hero. But anyway, that's Wednesday. Let's move on to track number 8, which is called Little Bonnie.
On the day that she was buried, her daddy stood out by the cemetery fence and prayed to God for forgiveness, as if this was punishment for sin. Later in the family garden, said you could hear his heart breaking miles away. All the men pitched in and bought a marble angel to mark the piece of land where little Bonnie lay. Grandma said she would keep her in the morning so her mama could sleep a bit and do the chores and such. She'd read her stories about little girls and magic powers that would never ever let a pretty angel hurt. Mama's always been a beauty, day. But they say bodies crystallize, put the stars to shame. Maybe heaven needed Bonnie's face.
This is just a very sad tale. You know, you've got this father burying his daughter, who died very young, clearly, maybe because of like a murder, possibly. And he's asking God for forgiveness. So what that implies to me is that he treated her really poorly in life. Maybe her childhood was really bad. Maybe he was a drunk and abused her physically, and emotionally and verbally and things like that. And so because of that, she probably became a rebel. She probably turned to the wrong crowd, you know, who eventually maybe got her into drugs, into drinking, and maybe she overdosed or something. You know, she died young. So it wasn't until this moment when her father finally realizes what he drove her daughter towards that he's like, oh my goodness, God, please forgive me. You know, I'm sorry that I've been such an awful person that, you know, I ended up driving my daughter towards this madness and she died because of it. So he's trying to seek redemption, right? He's at least acknowledged that he had a big part to play in how she turned out and who she ended up running with socially and things like that. So this song makes me think of that, you know, a guy who most people would see as a horrible person, who's trying to finally find some sort of redemption. He's finally seen the error of his ways, so to speak, just at the wrong time. But anyway, the last track I want to talk about is track number 10, which is called A Blessing and a Curse, the name of the album. Let's check it out.
When it all comes down, there'll be nothing left to catch you but ground. It's calling your name and filling your head with delusions of glory. Is that how you're gonna write your story? Down in your time as a high-flying flame out, sucking on what's left of your trust fund, sucking on the end of a shotgun. But there's more than meets the eye. The real story's under the surface. We're all so in love with the artifice. We don't dare look too close.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're thinking. How can a guy like this with a lot of money from an upper class background be depressed in any way, shape, or form? Well, let's dig a little bit deeper. Let's try to be humans and understand one another. So I can imagine a scenario where a guy comes from a prominent family. His parents and his grandparents and his great-grandparents are very successful, and you know, they have high hopes for their son. They probably want him to be either a businessman or a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. But this guy doesn't want to be any of those things, or even maybe he's incapable of being those things. Maybe he's really shy and anxious and isn't great socially. You know, he's not good at making contacts and networking and things like that. But he's got all of this pressure from his family and from his community to do really well, to rise to the top in society, to maintain the family name, so to speak. But it sounds like he's just incapable of doing it, or at the very least, he doesn't want to do it. So his parents are really disappointed in him, and he's having a hard time fitting in, right? Because he's not, he hasn't pursued a career where everyone he works with also comes from his background and also has a bunch of money. So maybe he's just kind of like secretly rich. He's going around town, hanging out at coffee shops and seeing concerts and making friends. But all of these friends are nowhere near his level of wealth, and he's probably hiding the fact that he's got a lot of money. He probably has a hard time relating to the people that he's going to end up hanging out with for the rest of his life, right? Because he's not a doctor or a lawyer or a businessman, so the only people he's interacting with probably don't have the best jobs per se. So there's this huge, there's this weird dynamic going on socially with his life, and it's probably getting to him. He wants his family to be happy with him. He wants his parents to be proud of him, right? He just feels like a failure, basically. So, I don't know if that would be enough to get him to shoot himself, but I mean, it would make somebody stressed out and sad, I would imagine. So let's try to be empathetic. But anyway, that's the last track I want to talk about with you guys from this album. Again, these guys are just a really, really good modern southern rock band. I think this is probably their best album. And I'm just very happy that it's a good album because I love this album cover, as I mentioned. Oh my goodness. It's so cool. But anyway, I hope you thought it was interesting. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the album. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It would really help me out. But yeah, that's the Drive-By Truckers for you. Check them out and have a good one.